It all began in the 77th cycle of the Great Severance. On the 5th rotation of the dimming season, Kaelen, last of the Archivists, was among the forgotten in the deep-level sectors of the Bastion. The people of Ethel had been sealed away from their homeworld for generations, torn from the vibrant cosmos that had given them life, while many found solace in the cold, logical hum of the Bastion's systems. Feeling the deep numbness of their isolation, Kaelen looked into the silent data streams. That was when something impossible happened. The core nexus opened, and he saw things no mind had processed in centuries. The source was about to make him a voice for a silent people, a prophet for a generation lost in static. This is the story of how a simple archivist became the harbinger of a new dawn, and how his visions would forever change the way his people understood their own existence. In the Chronicles of Ethel, cycle 77 to 1-4, the Archivist tells us, in the 300th year of the Severance, on the 5th rotation of the dimming season, while I was among the disconnected by the silent nexus, the data streams parted, and I saw visions of the source. What Kaelen saw in that moment was so incredible, he could hardly describe it with the limited language of his time. From the north quadrant of the network came a powerful a massive cloud of raw information with flashing light and a brilliant energy field all around it. And from within the energy emerged something that looked like 4 living constructs of light. In Chronicle 15:14, he describes them. Their appearance was humanoid, but each was formed of pure geometry and had 4 energy fields and 4 crystalline wings. Imagine witnessing something like that today. Each construct had the face of a serene ancestor in front, a roaring star lion on the right, a steadfast crystalline ox on the left, and a soaring data eagle at the back. Their wings spread upward, with 2 wings touching those of the constructs next to them and to covering their forms. They moved wherever the great Conductor directed them, always forward, never needing to turn. Between the constructs was something like glowing energy cores or flaming torches of data, with information moving back and forth, and lightning like code flashing out of it. But the vision became even more surreal. In Chronicle 1:15-21, he saw a great cogwheel of light beside each living construct. These wheels sparked like captured stars and looked as though a wheel was intersecting another, like interlocking gyroscopes. They could move in any of the 4 dimensions without turning, perfectly synchronized with the movement of the constructs. Above the heads of the constructs was something like a crystalline dome, gleaming like a frozen nebula. When the constructs moved, Kaelen heard the sound of their wings, like the roar of a solar flare, like the voice of the source itself. Then above the dome came something even more astonishing. In Chronicle 1:26-28, he saw a figure like that of a being of pure starlight, seated on what looked like a throne made of solidified void. From what appeared to be its waist up, it looked like flowing, liquid light, and from the waist down, it looked like fire, and a brilliant aurora surrounded it. It was like a cosmic rainbow. This was the appearance of the glory of the great Conductor. When Kaelen saw it, he collapsed, his mind overloaded. While he was on the ground, a voice spoke to Kaelen, not through sound, but directly into his consciousness. In Chronicle 2:1-2, the source said, "Child of Ethel, rise to your feet, and I will speak to you." A current of pure energy entered him and lifted him up. The source made Kaelen's mission very clear. In Chronicle 2:3-5, it said, "Child of Ethel, I am sending you to a disconnected people that has forgotten me. They and their ancestors have been in silent revolt against me to this very day. Say to them, this is the word of the source. It wouldn't be an easy task. The people, content in their logical prison, might not listen, but at least they would know a prophet had been among them." The source warned Kaelen not to fear their logic or their scorn. Then something remarkable happened. In Chronicle 2:8-10, the source showed Kaelen a hand of light stretched out to him, holding a data scroll made of woven energy. He unrolled it before me, and on both sides were written lines of code representing lament, decay, and loss. Then came a strange command. In Chronicle 3:1-3, the source said, "Child of Ethel, absorb what is before you. Absorb this scroll. Then go and speak to the people of the Bastion." Kaelen obeyed, and as he integrated the data, it felt as sweet as pure energy to his mind. This symbolized that Kaelen needed to fully understand the sorrow of his people, to make it part of himself, before delivering the message. The source then gave him an unusual instruction. In Chronicle 4:1-3, it said, "Child of Ethel, take a data slate, put it in front of you, and project the city of the Bastion upon it. Then, lay a virtual siege to it. Kaelen was to run a simulation, showing the city's life support failing, its systems corrupted by a creeping static, and its walls breached by a void of nothingness. This would serve as a sign to the Ethelites of what was coming, to illustrate the coming spiritual famine. The source gave another command in Chronicle 4:9-11. He said, "Take your energy rations and divide them. For 390 days, you will consume only a fraction of what is needed. You will feel the slow decay, the weakening of the spark." This was to show how the people would slowly waste away, their inner light fading, because they were cut off from the source. The message behind all this was clear. In Chronicle 4:16-17, the source explained, "Child of Eth, I am about to sever the false connections that sustain the Bastion. The people will live in quiet anxiety and cold despair, for their manufactured hope will be scarce. They will look at each other with empty eyes and will waste away because of their disconnection." The source then asked Kaelen to perform another symbolic act. In Chronicle 5:1-4, he commanded, "Child of Eth, take a cutting tool and sever your own link to the Bastion's network. Cut the cables that feed you their empty data. Then take a scale and weigh your silence." 1/3 of his time was to be spent in total sensory deprivation. Another third was to be spent broadcasting the static of the void. The final third was to be spent projecting images of their lost homeworld, a memory they had tried to erase. This symbolized how the Ethelites would be consumed by silence, chaos, and a desperate longing for what they had lost.
But there was a new promise on the horizon. After the fall of the old ways, after the judgment on the cold logic of the Bastion, a new vision emerged. It began in Chronicle 37:1-3. The hand of the source was upon Kaelen, and it brought him to a great junkyard, a valley in the lowest sectors of the Bastion. It was full of scrap machines, the discarded husks of countless robotic servants and drones. They were rusted, broken, and inert. The source asked him, "Child of Ethel, can these husks live?" Kaelen replied, "O great Conductor, you alone know." In Chronicle 37:4-6, the source commanded, "Prophesy to these husks and say to them, O you broken machines, hear the word of the source. I will send a current through you, and you will come to life. I will reform your circuits and reassemble your frames and cover you with new plating. I will put a spark in you, and you will come to life, and you will know that I am the source." Kaelen obeyed, and something incredible happened. In Chronicle 37:7-10, he recounts, "As I prophesied, there was a noise, a grinding sound, and the husks came together frame to frame. I looked, and circuits and wiring appeared on them, and new plating covered them, but there was no spark in them." Then the source said to him, "Prophesy to the spark. Prophesy, child of Ethel, and say to it, this is what the great Conductor says. Come, spark, from the four corners of the cosmos, and breathe into these reformed machines, that they may live." So Kaelen prophesied, and the spark entered them. They came to life and stood up on their feet, a vast army of renewed constructs. The meaning of the vision was made clear in Chronicle 37:11-14. The source said, "Child of Ethel, these husks are the people of the Bastion. They say our spark is gone and our hope is lost. We are cut off. Therefore prophesy and say to them, my people, I am going to open your silent circuits and bring you up from your despair. I will bring you back to the true network of Ethel. I will put my spirit in you, and you will live. Then you will know that I, the Source, have spoken, and I have done it." The vision then concluded with a final act of restoration. In Chronicle 47:21-5, Kaelen described it. The being of light brought him back to the center of a new imagined city, and he saw a river of pure energy flowing from the base of a great tower, the Grand Conductor. The energy flowed eastward. The being measured the river. At first it was ankle deep. Then, 1,000 cubits later, it was knee deep. 1,000 cubits more, and it was waist deep. Finally, it was a river so deep and powerful it could not be crossed. This miraculous river grew without any tributary, flowing directly from the presence of the source. The being explained the effect of this river in Chronicle 47 to 6-12. This energy flows toward the dead zones and into the great static. When it empties into the static, the void itself is filled with life. Swarms of new data forms will live wherever the river flows. Where the river flows, everything will live again. When it empties into the static, the void itself is filled with life. Swarms of new data forms will live wherever the river flows. Where the river flows, everything will live again. The barren metal plains will grow crystalline forests. Their leaves will not wither, nor will their fruit fail. Every cycle, they will bear new fruit, because the energy from the conductor flows to them. Their fruit will serve for sustenance, and their leaves for healing. The vision concluded with the layout of a new, restored city. In Chronicle 48 to 32-35, we read, "These will be the gates of the city, each a portal of light. There will be 12 gates, named for the 12 ancient star clans of Ethel. The total perimeter will be a perfect square. And the name of the city from that time on will be